Whenever I'm forward planning a meal, I always think, what can I forward prepare in bulk? This is currently one of my absolute favorite meals. If I had to create this as a whole every single morning, it would take so much of my time. I've got 5 different items that I have to weigh and measure. 200 grams of yogurt. I mix 10 grams of vanilla protein powder in with the yogurt. Add in 100 grams of blueberries, 25 grams of almond butter, and 20 grams of chocolate. If I had to do that every single morning, it becomes overkill. So what I've done is bought these tiny little containers at Woolworths that hold 50 grams of food and portioned out 2 weeks of 25 grams of almond butter and store them in my cupboard. The other thing I've done, taken the 20 grams of chocolate, crushed it up into a Ziploc bag, added 100 grams of frozen blueberries, sealed all 15 Ziploc bags, and then in my deep freezer. Because I've already forward prepared pieces of this meal, when I put it together, it takes me less than 5 minutes. And that's the really beneficial thing about doing partial meal preps. Anything in a meal you can forward prepare, portion out into individual sizes, and either freeze or put into the cupboard. It saves you an immense amount of time during the week. When it comes to my morning tea, if I have to get the scales and weigh out 20 grams of peanut butter every time I go to have this meal, tracking becomes overwhelming. It's the small, tedious things. If you have to do them multiple times every day, tracking becomes too much. Similarly to the almond butter that I have in my breakfast, I do the same thing with the peanut butter. And then I go one step further and I put 4 rice cakes and one of those little containers of peanut butter in every single Ziploc bag. While it may sound insignificant, this is what buys me back so much time during my week. Instead of opening the packet 7 times during my week, I opened once. And I don't have to count the rice cakes during the week. I don't have to weigh out the 20 grams of peanut butter. It becomes a grab and go meal. So when it comes to my lunch, the parts of this meal that I forward plan and prepare in bulk are the jasmine rice. I use a rice cooker and cook a kilo of rice and then portion out 70 grams worth of rice into Ziploc bags. Then I freeze those single portions, and I do the same with the mince. Use a slow cooker to cook 1 kilo of lean beef mince, and I mix curry powder in with it. I've gone ahead and portioned out 7.5 grams of macadamia oil into the little containers to use my micro scales. Because the scales are extra sensitive, it's much easier to hit 7.5 grams of macadamia oil using those scales as opposed to my other digital food scales that I use for everything else. And just like the nut butters, I forward plan and prepare 2 weeks worth of macadamia oil. So I've got 7.5 grams in every single container, sealed and sitting in the cupboard. So the cannellini beans and the pineapple, I put those into a small container together. All the weighing and measuring has been done for me. The night before, I grab a bag of mince and jasmine rice out of the freezer. I let them defrost. And the next day, I put the meal together. Everything's already weighed and measured. Rather than pulling out the digital scales to weigh and measure 6 different items every single day of the week, my lunch takes me less than 2 minutes to put together.